It was a shooting that shocked the nation. In just 13 seconds, 3 gunmen in this white Nissan shot 23 people outside a Miami banquet hall. 3 killed. And today, prosecutors dropped all the charges against a man who confessed. How on earth could that happen? Plus, after 5 days missing in Manhattan, Kaylee and Vincent are finally back with their families. But what happened while they were gone? And why did they run in the first place? Kaylee's dad joins us live tonight. And then, what a difference a year can make, or so Prince Andrew claims. The second son of the Queen and chum of Jeffrey Epstein says 17 is old enough to have sex in New York, and that's good enough for him. Plus, it's beginning to look a lot like a war zone. Armed guards boarded up windows and giant slinky barriers. How desperate store owners are fighting back against those smash and grab mobs. It's all tonight on Banfield. Welcome to Banfield. It seemed like an open and shut case, a slam dunk, in fact, a mass shooting that took just 13 seconds and was caught on camera. Back in May, you might remember this video, 4 men rolling up on a Miami banquet hall, 3 of them opening fire on the concert goers waiting outside. They shot 23 people, killing 3 of them before peeling out in that white Nissan. 2 men were arrested. 1 even confessed. But today, all charges against that guy who confessed were dropped, which means 20-year-old Warneric Buckner is walking away free. And we are not talking about little charges here. We're talking about the most serious that there are. Death penalty eligible. 3 counts of first-degree murder and 20 counts of attempted murder. It defies logic how this happened. But here's what seems to have happened. Prosecutors say it is true. Homicide detectives were able to get that confession out of Buckner. But it is the timing of that confession that just doesn't seem to square with the law. And because of that, they had no choice and had to cut him loose. I want to go right now to NewsNation's Brian Enton, who's in Miami with more. Brian, this just doesn't seem like it's possible. What was wrong with the confession?
Well, listen, when I heard this today, Ashleigh, this was like a jaw-dropping moment because I covered the shooting at the end of May. I was outside that banquet hall. You said it. 23 people shot. It was awful. There were innocent people outside that banquet hall. There was a massive manhunt. There was a $130,000 reward. They finally arrested this guy. They got the confession. You said felt like a slam dunk. The issue that we learned about today is that the suspect, Warneric Buckner, he asked for an attorney during the interrogation, which is his right. He asked for the attorney. He wanted to hire an attorney and bring an attorney in, but they continued with the interrogation after that, and that is when the confession happened. So when prosecutors were going over this confession, it was all recorded. They realized, wait a minute, he asked for an attorney, and the detective kept going. This would likely be thrown out in court, and they decided to drop the charges.
So look, I get that. I get that Miranda is critical in this nation, and you do have the right to remain silent, and you do have the right to an attorney. We see it on TV all the time. It gets listed the minute they call her a perp. But in this case, there's video. There are witnesses. There's plenty of evidence. Why on earth is just the confession the only reason that they're going to toss this out?
Well, apparently the confession is all they had. I mean, I read the closeout memo very, very carefully from the Miami-Dade County State Attorney, and they said there that they needed to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt, and without that confession, they could not do that. So he went from being charged with 20 counts of attempted murder and 3 counts of murder to it all being dropped today, and just tonight, Ashleigh, this man walked out of the Miami-Dade County Jail.
Okay, just get me off the ledge, though. Tell me that this isn't over, that they're going to continue investigating, that they're going to continue to try to gather something else in order to effectuate, like, a rearrest or maybe an actual prosecution of this guy?
It's possible, but again, he's out of jail. He walked out tonight. There could be a rearrest. The state attorney was clear today that this is still an open investigation. And what they said was, if there is a discovery of new evidence, it is possible that he could be prosecuted. The police said that they are also continuing to investigate. They want to bring justice to the families. But again, it appears that evidence doesn't exist right now because they let him walk out of jail tonight.
It's just maddening, especially when you see that video. I mean, innocent people just mowed down. You can see people actually taking bullets. It's horrifying. Brian Enton, thank you for the reporting tonight. I agree. And I watch this and my blood boils to think that they've got to let a guy go. And again, we're not talking about mere charges here. We're talking about the most serious first degree and attempted murders. I want to bring in veteran criminal defense attorney and former Miami prosecutor Mark Ashleigh. This is your state, Mark, and I know Florida doesn't look kindly on people who do this kind of crime. That's why the death penalty is alive and well in Florida. As an attorney, I know you understand why it happened, but the rest of us don't understand how it can happen.
All right, let me take you off the ledge for a second. I live here in South Florida and share your concerns. This violent, confessed killer has been dropped into my backyard, and he could harm my family. So I'm extremely concerned, just like you. That said, I applaud the courage of Michael Van Zamp, the specific prosecutor, who I know. I worked in that office. I know him very well. He doesn't want to let a killer go. He let a killer go because he had to. The confession was unlawfully obtained in violation of his cherished Miranda rights. Anyone who's watched cheesy law dramas knows that that's a big part of the case. And they don't have sufficient evidence without his confession. Period. End of story. It happens all the time.
It does, but then it's hard to believe that there isn't sufficient evidence. There were 4 people in that car. They have the other guy. They don't have 2 of them. I don't even know what's going to happen with the other guy, Devontae Barnes. He's apparently the alleged getaway driver. But I know the concentric circles can squeeze hard so that you can turn on the other guy. That's one big piece of evidence in a case. And then there's the video, and then there's the car, and then there are the weapons that were used, the shell casings. There were plenty. 23 people were hit with those bullets. How can there not be enough evidence to do something, anything, to try to make this stick?
Okay, they're not done. I read the closeout memo, and they're saying if there's additional evidence, they will prosecute. That said, usually these crimes are not committed in front of a busload of nuns who are available to testify. Most people, if they do see something, don't want to come forward. And you keep showing that video. I don't see anybody's face. So you mentioned the video. There's no evidence there. There's probably no witnesses who are willing to testify, because if they did, their lives would be in danger. It's unfortunate. I get it. I feel for everyone, including me, who lives in this community. But most prosecutors wouldn't have the courage to drop the charges. What they would do is they'd say, no, we're going to file it. Then the defense lawyer, like myself, would file a motion to suppress. We would get the confession thrown out, and then the charges would be dropped. And the prosecution would look like the hero because they brought the charges, but they'd be wasting everyone's time, energy, and they'd raise expectations when they shouldn't have.
So they're going to keep eyes on him, right? Because this guy could probably feel real bold right about now and maybe not quite as smart as he should be, meaning there may be some braggadocious behavior, lots of things that could be on wiretap. Like, there's a way to still reel a guy in after they let him go.
Yes, but listen, I don't ride a unicorn, and I live in the real world. You think that they're spending precious resources following the guy around, just keeping an eye on him? Maybe in some, television show, but in reality, they don't have the resources. They're not following him around. So the reality is they will wait until he commits another offense.
But Mark,
and then you'll be on yelling and screaming.
I do.
Yeah.
I do think they're going to follow them around. Maybe not for shoplifting, but for 3 counts of first-degree murder and 20 counts of attempted murder. I do think that they would dedicate precious resources. At least a few years. You know, there's no statute of limitations on murder.
No, I get it. But what, you're going to just devote, what, how many officers? 1, 2, and just follow him around? And it's just not reality. They're not going to do it. It's unfortunate, but they're not going to do it. They will wait to see if there's someone who comes forward, maybe one of the co-defendants, like you say, who they have real evidence against, and then they're willing to flip and testify against him, which is unlikely because usually they don't do that. This is unfortunate, but the system worked.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. And this is a tricky one because I have to word it carefully. Back when we were covering this, I recall that a lot of people said this looks like it's gang violence. Well, it sure looks like it. But then there was some question about gang, and we were told we had to call it group, whatever group violence is. But now most of the reporting is back to gang. And so the way I get it from having covered crime for almost, 24 years, 33 now, there's gang units. And the way gang units work is it's a long game. They get little things on lots of guys, and then they hold it till they need to cash in their chips. And then they go get the little guys from the gang and say, I've got you, and you're going away. But you can give up the big fish, or you can go away. What's your choice? That's how gang units often work. Can't that be at play now?
Yes, and I'll end with this positive message so you feel good today, Ashleigh. Number one, I know the people at the Miami-Dade State Attorney's gang unit. They're wonderful, and I absolutely believe they'll devote the resources. Secondly, it just makes me chuckle. You can't call them a gang, you call them a group. It's like calling a beggar a roadside entrepreneur. Same thing, just sounds a little nicer. That's silly. Come on.
It's a bit crazy. Mark, I knew you'd have the answers, and I'm very sorry this happened in your community, for starters, and I'm even more sorry that you have a potential, multiple first-degree murderer on the loose, as you said, in your backyard. And so for all the viewers in Miami right now, I'm going to extend that apology to you as well. Thank you, Mark. Come back again, will you?
Take care.
Always love having Mark Eiglarsh on the program. Okay, there are so many things that were wrong with that story, and we're going to continue following it because I do believe that the police are going to continue following it too. But then I have this other story as well that we've been following for a couple of days now. It is a great headline. The 2 15-year-old kids who were missing in Manhattan for 5 days, back home with their parents, healthy and safe. 15-year-olds Kaylee Catalano and boyfriend Vincent Abulafia were spotted by Kaylee's dad, Joseph, on a bench underground in the New York City subway. As you can imagine, emotions ran pretty high, tears, hugs, even some yelling. And apparently that is when the NYPD stepped in because they tweeted this out. Quote, responding to a commotion on the platform of the 42nd Street station, our task force officers were confronted with a relieved father hugging 2 teens. One of them is missing child. The kids were whisked off to the base where they were tended to by EMS before heading home. And there's a picture of the 4 officers who stepped in and helped out there. Okay, now we're 24 hours later. Oh, got a lot of questions, right? I have them. I know you have them. Questions about Kaylee and Vincent's New York City escapade. Joseph Catalano, Kaylee's dad, is joining us live now for this exclusive interview. He is the man who found the kids. Joseph, thank you. And goodness gracious, I am so glad this ended for you the way it did with Kaylee back home with you. But what happened?
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I'm just grateful that you took the time out tonight. Oh, God, how it happened. Honestly, with thousands and thousands and thousands of supporters. First off, starting with all the families, Vincent's family, Kaylee's family, from mothers, fathers, step-parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, family members, community, law enforcement, Good Samaritans, the Patino family, Gabby Patino's family, who reached out to me personally, just the outpouring of support and help and efforts that went into this search for our children I'm actually, it makes me emotional. It shows that how many good people are out there. So, to answer
Joseph, there's 2 Josephs now in this story. There's you, Joseph, and Joe Petito reached out to you?
Yes, Joe Petito reached out to us, and Gabby's mom and stepfather, James, reached out personally, yes, and put us just for support, to help us, bring these children back to us any way that they could help. They set us up with some good resources that we had used, that I had contacted to try to help, where, some really good resources to get this message out. So, yes, they did. And it was really, I'm humbled and grateful that they did that. And I am going to reach out to them personally after this is all over. And it's amazing.
So, Joseph, tell me, I mean, there's just so many questions that we have. First of all, on a good day, there's 8 million people in the city of New York, in Manhattan. And on a normal day, there's like 12 to 16.
Sure.
I know from our interview on Monday night with other family members when you were desperately looking that I think Vincent had his Chromebook from school and that it could maybe send out some pings about location. But even that in New York, if you get a pinpoint location, you're still looking at thousands and thousands of people, big, tall buildings, underground. How did you find them, especially in a place so close to Times Square?
There you go. Well, me and my family have been saying, you could put 100 people in the city and you would still wouldn't find them. It would be hard to find, right? So, right, you add up those numbers that you said on any given day. And honestly, Ashley, that day, I just went I went not looking. I said, Kaylee's mom and I had talked, and, I used my brother, strength from him, who's no longer with us, and asked to protect them. And asked him to guide me to them. And so she said, you know what, we've been focusing a lot on downtown, a lot of the efforts early on because of these pings. And yes, you want to, a lot of more downtown in the Village, down in Chinatown, down there, Brooklyn Bridge, we were looking on Monday. So I just decided, I said, you know what, Tuesday, I'm going in by myself. And, Kaylee's mom, Erin, said, go uptown. So I took the route up through Times Square, got up to about 50th Street. We did get a tip, which was awesome. Here's where law enforcement comes in. Somebody spotted them around, I would say, I think it was, 800 8th Avenue. It was Row Hotel, actually.
So that's not far. Yeah, that's not far from Times Square. But still, right. Even if you get a tip or a ping or anything, finding anyone in the subway systems, was that just dumb luck?
No, it was, like I said, it was divine intervention. Like I said, I used my brother as if I went to his gravesite Monday, the day before I went, and those are the exact 2 words I said. I said, keep them safe and guide me to them. And like I said, we've been usually focusing on downtown, and, Erin and I had said, Kaylee's mom and myself said, you know what, we're going to send her on uptown today. And she told me to go up to 50th. I went up to 50th. She called me that the detective out in Suffolk County who was working the case got a tip that they were seen at this Row Hotel, which was literally minutes from me. I put it on my app, the GPS, ran over there. They were not in the hotel, checked around, showed the pictures, went across the street to the Shake Shack. All of a sudden, right across the street from that Shake Shack on, I guess it's 44th and 8th, it was the Port Authority and 42nd subway, and it just, I went down there. I'll be honest, I went down there, and then it was just,
okay,
and
now,
my daughter
so Joseph,
right down there. Yes.
Take me to this moment. You go down to the subway and you spot them, and knowing that we are not aware of their state of mind, how do you approach them? I'm wondering if you're fearful they're going to run from you. Like, how did you approach them? What was that moment of reunion like?
Well, first off, obviously, you know that real quick. There's a lot of subways to choose from down there, right? And a lot of numbers and a lot of letters, a lot of up, down, and downtown. I chose the first one. I chose the downtown A and C, and went through, walked, and when I spotted them on the bench, I'm a social worker myself, so I've handled crises but never this close to home, obviously. But so I approached them close, and obviously when you're in the city, obviously they weren't paying attention. I could have been anybody walking by, but I just slowly went up to them. I just put my arms around them, and I hugged them both, and I said, we love you guys. We miss you. Your families miss you. You're safe. I just reassured them that we love them, and then, like you said, I did scream bloody murder, because at that time it was just getting them safe. And these 4, like you shown, they were amazing. The police from that station, the gentleman came down, asked my daughter just to confirm, and said, Kaylee, is this your dad? And she said, yes, this is my dad. And they took us off to the safe precinct, which is right up the stairs, and just, phenomenal. Like I said, my hat's off to them and what they do and what they do for the city and how they were with the children. They were just amazing. And it was.
So Joseph, when that moment you said there was screaming, were you screaming at them like angry, or were you screaming for help? Like, describe what that was all about.
I was screaming for help, meaning help, saying like, because I knew that I got them and I found them and I was so happy. But now it was just making sure that they were okay and then getting them home safe to our family and Vincent home to his family. So, and I knew that.
Were they okay? Like, were the kids on board with that?
They were fine. They were very, obviously, I'm sure, startled to see me, and very startled, I'm sure, but they were not unhappy to see me. My daughter, was crying and said, sorry, Daddy, I love you, Daddy. And, Vincent, you could see, was tearful. And, and I made sure I FaceTimed both of their mothers, and, and it was very emotional. It was very, very emotional. And, they were both happy to see their family members. And because then when Vincent's family members came down, and met us, I mean, it was just a very, very, very emotional reunion for all of us. And we are just so happy that they're home safe with both families, and that they know that they're loved. And so it was a miracle. It was really, really
Joseph,
a miracle.
Does it seem as though, listen, I know kids fantasize about, going on the run, and they think it's going to be, unicorns and roses, and it is not, especially in New York City. Did you get the sense that they were at the end of their rope after 5 days as 15-year-olds who can't get a hotel? They're not old enough, and they're basically out there to fend for themselves. Like, what was their mental state when you reached them?
Of course. I mean, that's always the biggest fear, like, right, what resources. But, like I said, I think their mental state was just shock, So I guess, 5 days of that. And then, and then me being there, I think it really was a shock. I think, it was a shock, and I think there are just probably a lot of emotions that are going on, processing a lot of things. And that's it. But like I said, they were okay, they were okay. And
where had they been sleeping? Because like I said, at 15, you can't get a hotel room. You're not a grown up. So where did they spend their nights?
You know what? Like I said, a lot of that has not come out yet, because like I could only speak for our family and with my daughter, is that first and foremost, it was just making sure that she was okay. We did make sure last night we took her to get medically checked, physically checked, and make sure that, she was okay. And as a parent, that was first and foremost, and then those questions will come later, because obviously her safety and well-being.
Vincent's mom gave us a statement last night saying that they had slept in a subway tunnel, but there are 4 or 5 nights that they had to find shelter. Do you know of anything else that they were able to do?
I don't. Like I said, with Kaylee right now, we're just in the early stages of just making sure she's okay. Making sure, taking care of her well-being right now. And like I said, those questions, will come from obviously the professional help that, from the professionals that help to do that kind of stuff.
And I know this. Yeah, I know this is a sensitive time. Obviously, I can't imagine being in your shoes. But I also know that anybody watching would feel the same, empathy, but also just they're mystified by it. And the number one question is, why did they do it?
You know what? That is a good question. And hopefully with time and just, healing, we will get, truths, because obviously, this was less than 24 hours ago that they were found in a very, very, like I said, it was for both families, it was a nightmare, a living nightmare, 24 hours a day. And nothing that I would wish on any family. And that cliche in the 10 o'clock news, it's 10 o'clock, where your kids were. And for 5 nights, both families said no. And every night the sun went down, it was just heart-wrenching. So like I said,
and so far, I mean, it's been almost 2 days now that Kaylee's been home after finding her yesterday. You haven't been able to have that conversation or get those details out of her. Like, A, why did you do it? And B, what did you do for those 5 days, on the run?
Well, like I said, again, there are certain discussions that I choose to keep, private between Kaylee, her mom, her family, myself. But obviously, like I said, from what I'm gathering, and again, because remember too, it's like there's been a lot now since then that we've done, and there's not that much time in the day to do a lot of the things that we've had to do since we've gotten home, and plus reunite her with her family and her sisters, and that was the most important thing. Her seeing her sisters, her talking to the people that love her so much. And like I said, yes, there's been some minimal talks about like but you're not going to get all those answers in a less than 24-hour period. And obviously she needed rest and she needed sleep. And I will tell you, she slept very well last night. And but like I said, I'm sure they like kids do. They probably went to all the fun spots that look fun, the Times Squares and the Radio Cities and all that stuff. But as we know, and us adults know, that city, although a great city, can be a very dark and dangerous place for teens, and it's definitely nothing that we would advocate any child to do.
No, you're right, and even harder now to find them because of the number of people who are tourists in the city. The number of people just out on the streets and in the subways has grown, substantially. Hey, Joseph Catalano, I'm really glad for you. I'm so happy that this turned out the way that it did, especially since Christmas is in 10 days. I'm sure it's going to be a very merry one for you and your family. We're wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you very much.
All right, you take care and give our best to the kids as well. Straight ahead, this one came out of left field today. How old is old enough for sex, according to a prince? 17. That's officially Prince Andrew's defense against sex charges in a New York court. So will that get him off the hook? And how about with his mom? Welcome back. It has been a tough year for Prince Andrew. Okay, maybe a tough couple of years, but this one came with a lawsuit from a woman who claims that Andrew and his pal Jeffrey Epstein sexually exploited her. Being sued for anything is off-brand for the ninth in line to the British throne, but a sex suit filed under the Child Victims Act in New York? It is safe to say Andrew is not the Queen's favorite anymore. That's a bit of a guess, but I think it's not too off. Her Majesty does have some pretty fair barristers, though, and this week, on Andrew's behalf, they pulled off a major and maybe even a pivotal victory. They've persuaded a federal court in New York to unseal a 12-year-old settlement between Epstein and Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Yes, I know, Epstein and Giuffre, not Andrew, but it's important. Virginia Roberts Giuffre has long been the most outspoken of Epstein's accusers, right? Literally dozens of accusers. But she is the woman who's also suing now and suing Andrew. So the long secret terms of the deal she scratched with Epstein, that settlement, reportedly forced her to, quote, release her claims and potential future claims against Epstein, and here's the important part, others who she alleged participated in his sex trafficking scheme and caused her harm. See the others? That others is a really big word, because look who hangs out with Jeffrey Epstein. Since Giuffre mentioned the prince by name in the lawsuit, the prince's lawyers are claiming that, look how close they are. He's covered by that deal. He's one of the others with Epstein. And that, apparently, is worth having the whole world know that Prince Andrew was uncomfortably close to a notorious sexual predator. Ugh. But that's not all. Oh, no, I'm just getting started. Just in case the court doesn't buy this alleged immunity because he's one of the others, whoever wants to be an other, but I guess if you're being sued in court, you want to be another at this point. The prince is rolling out another defense, and this one is a bombshell. He's now claiming that Virginia Giuffre can't sue him under New York's Child Victims Act because it protects victims under 18. But in the state of New York, the age of consent for sex is 17, which is how old Giuffre, back then she was Virginia Roberts, was when she says the prince allegedly abused her in 2001. Let's be clear here. The prince seems to be arguing If it's old enough for New York State, it's old enough for me. 17. Though, to be clear, the prince is still denying that he sexually abused anybody, and he continues to maintain he never even met Virginia Roberts. Oh, you didn't? Because this photograph has made a lot of rounds. It's been circulated all over the place, purportedly snapped by Mr. Epstein himself. That's Andrew with his arm around Virginia Roberts' bare midriff. Andrew, however, says, in the past, oh, that's a fake. He has claimed that this picture is a fake. And by the way, that's Ghislaine Maxwell in the back. She's, got her own legal troubles right now. She's on trial in Manhattan as well. I'm going to dig into all of this because I've got a blue ribbon panel who knows more about all these people and the troubles within than anybody else. And we don't have to wait long because these three are going to join me on the other side of the break. Prince Andrew has fired not one, but two legal broadsides in his attempt to shake loose from a sexual abuse lawsuit filed by Virginia Roberts Giuffre, and some powerfully smart people are here to make sense of it all. Hilary Fordwich is an expert observer of the British royal family. Josh Schiffer is a lawyer whose firm represents one of Jeffrey Epstein's many accusers. And Stacey Honowitz heads up the sex crimes and child abuse unit of the Florida State Attorney's Office. Welcome, all three of you. Okay, Josh, I'm going to start with you. This long-awaited settlement and all the juicy things that have been wrapped up and protected inside are all going to spill out now. Do you think even if Andrew is noted as one of the close circle, that it's going to get him off the hook from this? And would the language be so specific?
Yeah, absolutely the language could be this specific. Remember, this was a big, thorough document crafted by lawyers, and we know how those people think. Obviously, protecting people was part of this exercise. He wanted to wrap up as many loose ends as possible, so I have no doubt the language used was very specific, in including the others that you talked about, just like the rest of the protections people are jumping into to stay away from the Epstein stain. I don't put it past the royal family to do anything to extricate the prince, and I feel that if the prince needs to kind of sacrifice himself by acknowledging some of the story, but getting completely exculpated from the rest, he's going to double down and go that way.
So then the other side of this coin, Stacey, is right up your alley. The Child Victims Act in New York. The prince and his lawyers are saying, that's great, except for that the age of consent in New York is 17, so we good. Oh, my God. Okay, so first of all, just to help me understand which one counts here, the part that says consent is 17, ick, or the part that says that the Child Victims Act protects people under 18?
Well, first of all, he's going to have a very difficult time because he can't pick his defense. He can't figure out if he was never involved with her at all, or if he was involved with her and she consented to have sex with him. The theory behind sex trafficking and anything like that is it doesn't matter the age of consent. In New York, they're saying 17, you can fully consent to having sex. But if you were forced into it or if you were sexually abused, it doesn't matter how old you were. And basically, that's what she's saying. She's not saying that I consented to have sex with this gentleman. She's saying I was forced into it by Epstein. I was trafficked. I was forced. It was fraudulent. It was coerced. I was put up with the prince. So he can try to say what he wants, but he's got a real problem because he can't figure out which defense to go on, that he never had anything to do with her. Or he then is saying, but if I did, she consented to having the sex. So that's basically what it's saying. Every state has a different age usually as to consent. In some states it's 18. New York happens to be 17. Just saying that basically, if it comes down to it, a 17-year-old does have the power to consent to consensual sex, which is different than non-consensual trafficking.
Thank you for saying that. You have the right to consent to consensual sex, but you don't consent to unconsensual sex. I see what you're saying. No matter what. A 17-year-old girl with a half-C shirt and a 40-something-year-old prince who's palling around with Epstein is just gross no matter what, which brings me to you, Hilary Fordwich. This is such a rock and a hard place on two fronts for this prince. A, Your first defense is, I was super tight with Jeff Epstein, so I'm good. Or B, she was 17. It's good. It's legal. All fine. And those are the two options this man has at this point?
Well, actually, yes, pleasure to be back with you, Ashleigh. A couple of things here. Actually, the age of consent, no matter how, as you put it, gross it is, the age of consent in the UK is actually 16. So it's even younger there. But going back to his defense, yes, it's basically going on age and paid, about this age of consent, and also that she's already been paid off, and he's one of those others under this lawsuit. Something that's actually rather interesting in terms of timing is that his former wife, the Duchess of York, has actually just been on Italian television on a program called Porta a Porta, and she was actually, you know, exclaiming her love for him and proclaiming her love and saying that she's still 100% standing behind her man. Well, it's very interesting, the timing, isn't it? That in a twisted irony of fate here, that the one person that was really sort of ousted and persona non grata by the British royal family might be the one person who's flying into his defense because she might end up, if this goes to trial, if it's not dismissed, she may well end up testifying for him on his behalf. As you may recall, that alibi for the evening that purportedly he was in that Tramps nightclub when Virginia Roberts-Giuffre claims that he was with her.
I can't believe what you just said, that it could be Fergie who comes to the rescue of the royals. Hillary, you are coming back to flesh that story out further. Thank you, all three of you. I mean, wonderful and crazy and icky, and you're just also smart. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Prince Philip must be rolling in his grave.
I think you are right, without question. Okay, still to come. Thanks, everybody. 10 days till Christmas. Is all of your shopping done? If not, you may have to jump through some literal hoops to do it. Why retailers are literally putting out these giant hoops, slinky-like things, all around their stores. I never seen anything like it. Bright green and crazy looking, but they do the trick. I'm going to explain that to you in a moment, plus some other tricks that retailers have. And then here's your chance to test your retail smarts. Which season has the most reported shoplifting? Winter, spring, summer, or fall? The answer straight ahead. We asked you which season has the most reported shopliftings, and the answer? Winter. Probably trying to get a little extra money for the holidays, steal presents for Christmas, and you get the bulky clothing, right? So you can steal a lot in there. And then the other question, how many known shoplifters are there in America? The answer is, ding, 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 27 million. That's 1 out of 11 of us. 75% of them are adults, lest you think it's a kid stealing a candy bar. Well, that's pretty sad. I know we can do better, America. All together now. Okay, never mind. Thanks for watching tonight. It's been good to have you here. We'll be right back here tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central. Hope you'll be with us then. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.